Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This video is, wow, we got this one really wrong. I thought Chelsea had no chance in this game. I will say a quick moment of silence in this video for every single person that had doubted Chelsea. Sorry. Chelsea absolutely slapped PSG today. They are deserved winners. They played incredible today. I have so many things to get into. Let me know your comments down below. Let me know what you think, guys, about this game. Don't get it twisted. Chelsea can say something that no one else can now say for this year. They are world champions. They went to the Club World Cup. They got the result. They beat the best team in Europe this season in the final, and they smacked them in the final. I haven't seen PSG have a meltdown like this. I mean, wow. We were going into this game, and people started comping PSG to some of the great Barcelona teams. I mean, it's been that type of season for them. Really, they've been flawless. They did lose to Botafogo 1-0 in this tournament, where Botafogo got an early goal and sat, and we saw PSG had some trouble with that. Chelsea today were so decisive, so incredible. I have so many talking points to get into. Everyone owes Chelsea an apology. Don't get it twisted. This was a massive upset. Massive. This is one of the most surprising results all season. It's no slight at Chelsea. This PSG team has been great. They've won pretty much every trophy they can win this season. They've been incredible. They've done things that no one was expecting. You know, they basically put together this team where Mbappe has left. They've brought in some signings the last two seasons that really weren't like tier 1 grade A signings when you look at it. A couple of them, yes, but they've turned into a just incredible footballing team. And they got spanked today. They got spanked by Chelsea, who has spent a lot of money, for sure. But I will tell you, these recent signings, wow. And Enzo Maresca deserves all the credit because Chelsea now, the future looks bright. You just smacked the best team in the world. And I don't want to hear anything now from people downplaying this tournament because I know that's what's going to happen. People are going to start to say, oh, well, PSG was tired. PSG had a long season. Does this tournament really mean anything? All right, we saw this tournament where all these teams took this tournament seriously. The managers took it seriously. The players took it seriously. And at the end of the day, Chelsea today smacked PSG. They went out there and played some incredible, passionate football. All right. And this is why I started to say in my stream 2 weeks ago that watch out for Ecuador at the World Cup. Oh, my goodness. They have some players. Now, PSG, what went wrong today? I will say this. If you want to point to one thing, they really missed Pacho today. I felt like Pacho because, you know, they were just missing that physical center back that they've been playing with all year. It's really ignited their style in the team. And I felt like they really missed him today. Chelsea obviously showed the world that they are no Real Madrid. They play a completely different style. And PSG really struggled today. PSG had 66% of the ball, but a lot of it was meaningless. I will give credit to Sanchez. You know, the XG in this game, it wasn't super high. I always look at it as a metric after I watch the game and say, okay, really, what's my thought? I thought maybe they created like 1 XG. It was 0.55. Sanchez, I thought, did really well today. I think sometimes Sanchez gets, you know, some critics here and then, but I thought Sanchez did a really good job in net today. I thought he was brilliant. He made a couple really good saves. Donnarumma doesn't come out with a nice match rating today at 5.7, but don't get it twisted. Donnarumma really kept PSG from losing 5 or 6-0. Chelsea got off to this really hot start, and they had multiple chances in the second half that they didn't convert. But what are the initial talking points with this game? If you're a Chelsea fan, you deserve to be incredibly excited about this result today. You've pulled off one of the upsets of the season, okay? And your team is looking so bright going forward. I mean, I tweeted out a couple points that we can just go over as we get into this video. Palmer is insane. You know, Palmer is just this guy's ability as a footballer is incredible. He has 2 picture-perfect left-footed, low-driven finesses into the corner. They were just perfect, especially the second one. All right, when he does that cheeky little like fake and he sends the guy on a pass and he just creates the angle. It's just reminding you of the great start you saw to Palmer's Chelsea career. He still got it. And, you know, for Palmer, for his confidence, massive to be feeling like he's back in form. You know, he's going to be on the confidence cloud 9 because he just put on this show 2 goals and an assist against the best team we've really seen since Bayern 2020, I think. People will say Man City 20. I still think that I think this PSG team was the best team since that Bayern COVID season when they just ran through everybody. Same kind of vibe. Don't let anyone downplay PSG because that's not what people are going to do. People are going to go on Twitter and say, okay, PSG is really not that good. Like, oh no, this team PSG, You haven't been watching them enough if you're backtracking now. This team was crazy. They had a really bad game. I felt like no one on PSG outside of, maybe even Donnarumma, it just wasn't their day. It was one of those days in football where, Palmer gets off to this start. It's super hot out, and they just struggle. And the main reason they struggle, Caicedo. And we said this kind of when we were previewing this game, that if you were going to give Chelsea any chance, it's because Caicedo, Enzo, and these midfield guys were going to give some of this PSG midfield a real run for their money. Man, I'm so impressed with Caicedo, guys. Caicedo is just a one-of-one footballer. I mean, a lot of times when a footballer gets paid this much money, which he has got one of the craziest contracts in football, sometimes you wonder about the passion, and you wonder about how hard they're going to play and how effective, or will they start to kind of slowly just get comfortable. Oh, no, this guy wants it. This guy wants the moment, man. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I would just be over the moon with the team performance today between Sanchez, between Cucurella. Cucurella, I mean, say what you want about him. Oh, my goodness. He's a winner. Like, he's a winner. He's really showing me, like, he's a pest. He's annoying. He 2-foots into every tackle, but he does get the ball. He's just annoying. He even, got Joao Neves at the end of the game so riled up that Joao Neves pulled his hair and got a red card just because he was kind of getting in his face a little bit. He didn't do anything crazy, and Neves was like, yo, F this. We're getting cooked 3-0. I'm pissed. He had a moment that he shouldn't have done. He got mad. And Cucurella was doing what he does best. He was being a pest. Gusto had a great game. Everyone, but man, let's talk about 3 players on Chelsea. Let's talk, because the future is bright. Okay, the future with this Chelsea team, I've seen it all. If they can do this against PSG, they can do this against anybody. And maybe we're sleeping on Chelsea in the Premier League a little bit next season. Maybe if they can keep this squad that was out there today healthy. Oh, man. And if they can get this out of Palmer, the 2 goals from Palmer, great. Okay, no, let's talk about how he sets up the new Chelsea striker, Joao Pedro, man, who has, bro, I've been tweeting about this guy. He's giving me, like, actual flashes, and I'm not trying to talk, like, down on R9 or anything, okay? But his finishing ability is crazy. Crazy. And I'm going to tell you this, what I love about Joao Pedro as well, he gives me such vibes of these older strikers. We see so many strikers now. They'll make the run. They'll do this and that, but they don't really make the extra effort. I'll tell you guys, he was running back defending. He was running back tackling. If somebody was beefing, he was getting in their face. Like, he really reminds me of an old striker. He's Brazilian, and he wants it, man. Maybe that's something the Brazilian national team could benefit from, because they suck. So, Joao Pedro, I'll tell you this. I'm sold on him. And I hate to be that guy, because you know what? I'm not like a full-on Jackson hater, but Jackson has no chance to have playing time in his team now. Jackson is done. Pedro has gone in there. He's given Chelsea fans some incredibly exquisite finishes. I mean, not to mention, guys, can you take a step out and just understand Pedro as a human? He got bought, all right? He just got bought. They flew him out to the U.S. He hasn't played with these guys. They threw him into the team. He has those 2 incredible goals. All right, and what was that? The semifinal, those crazy finishes, both of them just like, what the hell, And now we're in the final, and he's scoring some really cold, like, kind of chip finish there against the best keeper in the world this season. I mean, makes the run perfectly. Finish was great. If you're a Chelsea fan, you got to be like, damn, did we just pick up one of the best strikers in the world right now? Because there's not many strikers doing what Joao Pedro's doing, giving you those finishes. And again, as I'm saying, understanding him as a human, bro. He's just come over to America, right, to play in this tournament with a bunch of players that he's not played with. And he's just moving like that. Crazy. Shows you how good he is. Shows you how good Palmer is as well. Palmer just getting him involved instantly. Palmer was, for me, just perfect today. Palmer had that vintage Palmer game. And, Palmer didn't really close last season well. So if you're a Chelsea fan, this is exactly what you want to see out of Cole Palmer. You got more confidence that this is your guy for the next 10 years. I mean it. He's really that level of talent. Palmer's so incredible to me because his knowledge of the game is so much higher than pretty much everybody else's in his position. He's not super athletic. He's not super anything outside of just he's got this freak super technical ability, technique, and IQ, which is weird because, you watch this guy in interviews, he doesn't seem the most intelligent, but his football intelligence is tier 1. It's 1 of 1, maybe it's 1 of 5 with other players in the world. And, the guy last night was riding a scooter around Times Square. Today, he's cooking up the best team in the world. Maybe that's what it takes to be great. He doesn't really care about the moment. It was great to see today. I love Palmer, too, because, Palmer will miss a shot that he knows he should score. We saw him miss a couple chances, and he gets so mad at himself. but he has the composure to just go get the ball, get back on the ball, and do great things again. He ignited Chelsea to an amazing 3-0 first half lead. And I said to myself watching this game, I didn't tweet it, but I said, look, does Enrique have anything that he's going to be able to get in that locker room and tell his team to lock the F in? Chelsea, they survived a little push to start the second half. There was a little time where I felt like, PSG maybe had a little bit of momentum going into the I guess the start of the second half, but really, guys, PSG, they didn't really do anything since that early onslaught. And in the second half, really for me, was just down to like, Palmer and Pedro kind of linking up and schooling everybody. Caicedo and Cucurella just tackling everybody. And Chelsea found a real ability here to really just at least build out and game plan this game. Like, they knew they were going to give PSG the ball, but they found effective ways to really make meaningful possession when they did have that 34%. And that has to be given credit to Enzo Maresca. I think Luis Enrique, what he's done this season is the best we've seen from a manager. Really probably since what Hansi Flick has reignited now with Barca, but even better than that, what he's accomplished this season, and probably the best since Flick at Bayern in 2020. So for Enzo Maresca to hop into this game and just completely stun Enrique and their team, I don't care if you guys want to say it's PSG's long season, they're tired, it's so much football. That's probably all true. But at the end of the day, Chelsea have similar conditions, and they went out there and performed, and man, they dogged PSG. Guys, this game wasn't even close. And for, like odds-wise, if you were to bet this score on this game and it could have been 4 or 5-0, bro, if you bet like $10, you probably would have made like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. That's how unlikely this outcome was today. And that's why I'm giving Chelsea all the credit in the world. And that if you're a Chelsea fan, the sky is the limit. You won the Conference League, right? People can say it's Mickey Mouse. Okay, you just beat the Champions League winners and you spanked them. And now you're world champions. So congratulations. Delap comes into the second half. I felt like Donnarumma just made good saves. I love what I see from Delap and Pedro. Their finishing ability instantly looks so much better than Jackson's. Their link-up ability. Even Palmer missed that finesse shot in the first half. And Pedro, he played him the nicest layoff. Like, their understanding of the game, it feels like it's clicking now for Chelsea. Like, they've got strikers that can finish. They've got Palmer, who's just cooking again, and everything looks like it's going well for Chelsea now. Like, it looks like the future is so bright for them. Looks like they're getting a lot of this drama with their club sorted. After buying all these players, it's maybe going to now start to really lead into next season, and it's looking like we're just going to have this insanity of a Premier League next season. Man City should be better. Liverpool should be better. Arsenal should be better. They're closing Gyökeres today. Chelsea should be better. I mean, Chelsea look like they can beat anybody. If they beat PSG in this way, they can beat anybody. So, trust in Enzo Maresca. It's an all-time high. The performance today, I'm like flabbergasted that he's just dogged Enrique. We just saw Enrique pretty much almost have the perfect season. And if you look at PSG, what's the reaction here? Guys, unfortunately, whether you want to admit this or not, and you guys have the total right to disagree, this completely stains the legacy of this season for PSG. I don't care what you say. I will not be able to not remember now this team getting absolutely spanked in the Club World Cup final. They went into this against the Conference League winners, Chelsea, didn't do anything special in the Premier League. Had a nice road to this final, did well this tournament. Only lost one game as well to another Brazilian team. By the way, so both of these teams in the final today lost to two Brazilian teams, Flamengo and Botafogo, and they spanked them. So, for me, looking back on this PSG team, I'm always going to wonder, like, man, how do we rate this team? Because they went all the way, and yeah, this was the last one of the season, but I mean, they had a meltdown today, guys. I've never seen this season so many of these PSG players really looking so visibly upset, tired. I mean, in a season where we saw PSG pretty much just press everybody like crazy to the point where eventually they would just have so much opportunity that they would score. We didn't see any of that today. All right, Desiree Doué, Cucurella was just laughing at bro. People want to call Doué the next Neymar. Bro got freaking owned by Cucurella today. Kvaratskhelia was having mini rages every 2 seconds. He didn't do anything. They got cooked by the Chelsea fullbacks. Dembele, who people say is going to win the Ballon d'Or, doesn't really get much today, and that's obviously sometimes the struggle as a striker. When a team isn't going, you can't really get going. They had so much meaningless possession. They had so much possession today where maybe Vitinha, maybe Neves had it. or Beraldo had it, but it wasn't in attacking positions because they couldn't get by the wall of Caicedo, Reece James, and Enzo, dude. It was crazy. Man, that Enzo-Caicedo duo, bro, those guys don't care. All right, and I felt like today, I feel like Chelsea, like watching the performance today from Caicedo, Enzo, I was like, yo, these guys got some shit to prove, bro. Like, they really looked like they had something to prove. I tell you, man, like, I know it wasn't anything insane from Enzo. I know Caicedo had a good game, but, like, they were just like, it looked like to me watching this, they were like, oh, I'm sick of these freaking PSG midfielders getting all this credit. Like, did you forget about us? Right? Because I never watched this season. Vitinha, Ruiz, I mean, you know, Neves pulling Cucurella's hair. That's a sign of frustration that, you know, they just got owned and they know it. They couldn't do anything today. I don't think we've seen PSG really get cooked like this. You know, you ask the question, is this game different with Pacho? Absolutely. Pacho really helps this PSG team ignite the way they've gone. But, man, anyone in the world, obviously being that PSG is the best team in the world, sees Palmer on his day like this, with a striker that knows how to play with Palmer, with an anchor like Caicedo and Enzo who are going to get your back. No one was beating this Chelsea team today. It was a flawless game. Chelsea today played like they were the best team in the world. They game planned it like they had the best manager in the world. They deserve all the credit, all the glazing. I don't want to hear it. This is a serious competition, all right? Don't be backtracking because you don't like Chelsea and you're going to say, oh, they didn't take it serious. No, man. No, everyone took this seriously. Chelsea's going to go get more prize money now, and Chelsea's going to take this with a confidence high into the new season, and watch out in the Premier League. Watch out for Chelsea. I'm telling you right now, I think we all been underrating them, okay? I want to hear about this Mickey Mouse run. They took down the European champions today of the Tier 1 trophy, and they deserve everything. I'm so impressed with them. I really am so impressed, guys. And if I was a Chelsea fan, you know, I want to just say, first of all, to you guys, I'm sorry. When I take a look at how your team is looking, you know, what the starting 11 gave you, it was great. And what you've got off the bench, I mean, you're bringing in players that really can now make an impact off the bench. Delap is looking really solid. You know, I think some of those chances today where he's got that crazy finesse shot where Donnarumma makes the save, it looked like the opposite side of the save he made against Saka. It looked like the Rashford save in the Champions League. And then, you know, the one-on-one where he passes his man and Donnarumma comes out. Look, those finishes against Premier League keepers are going in, bro. Those guys are not Donnarumma. So if you're a Chelsea fan, you got to love what you saw. You saw Pedro come off in the 67th, and your secondary striker that you just signed, again, you just signed him, was ready to go. He was ready to go. He came right in and made an impact. You know, you got talents like Nkunku off the bench. You know, you've got so much depth now on this team. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm really optimistic about the future. And, you know, maybe you needed this. As for PSG, you know, where do they stand? Look, the fact of the matter is with PSG, I felt like they thought this game was going to be a little easier, obviously, than it was. You could tell by their energy. I think they were just starstruck and shocked. I think they dug themselves too deep of a hole in the first half. I wouldn't be worried about this team long term. But what Enrique and these guys are going to have to do is figure out, okay, how are we going to bypass a team, all right, that can withstand our press defensively. They have defenders that can play out, and a team that can also get us pressed back. They're going to have to make adjustments because a lot of teams now are going to be watching this game as the blueprint of how we can beat PSG next season. Now, I still think PSG are favorites to win the Champions League. I'm not backtracking on anything. Obviously, guys, to do the whole entire perfect season, to win every single trophy available, it's next to impossible, right? You know, they almost got, with this one, they almost had it. Didn't do enough in the end. And guys, Chelsea are very deserved winners. Do I have anything else to really react to? This guy was saying, they were saying this PSG team is unlike anything they've ever seen. Guys, you know, it's not like it's unlike anything you ever seen. It still is one of the greatest teams of all time. I don't think it should be backtracked. The PSG president was fuming today. Enzo yesterday, you know, people were reacting to this yesterday that he was losing his mind trying to figure out how to deal with PSG. I think he was just dying with the Northeast heat because it's really hot here. So massive credit, guys, to Chelsea fans. You know, I'm very happy for you guys because I felt like this was just such a deserving result. You know, there was always that chance at halftime that maybe PSG was going to come back. But, man, the composure of Chelsea. You know, one thing about Chelsea is I think people always underrate them as a football club in finals. And throughout history, they really, man, know how to get results in games they shouldn't. We look back at so many times. You look at the Bayern Munich game. That's when I was growing up, when no one gave them a chance. And Cech and Drogba and Lamp, they just went crazy against that prime Bayern team. Ended up winning. Look at Man City. Look at that great Man City team who choked in the final, and Chelsea just outplayed them. Like, Chelsea just took their chances. Havertz and Mount up top, but they had leaders like Conte, guys like Thiago Silva leading that team to greatness with Tuchel. So, look, this Chelsea team gets slept on a lot. I owe them my apology. They went out there and absolutely cooked today. Congratulations to Chelsea fans. This was domination, man. This game wasn't even close, and I can't believe I'm saying that because this was the best team in Europe in the last 5 years, and you went out there and smacked them today. I was never expecting this result. I am really surprised, and I think you guys got a lot to look forward to next season. So as a guy that loves football, and I love watching and I love playing, I want to give all the fans who watch this video credit. I'm not here to hate on PSG. They had an incredible season. I'm a man of respect and class and honor, and I really respect what they've done. It will always remember in my mind that this game happened. I'm not going to forget this because it was destruction. I've said it 20 times. But Chelsea, you guys have a lot to look forward to. Congratulations. Until next time, guys, we have a month now of a break of football. A little bit. We've got some other games. We're going to have transfer news reactions, probably some tier list rankings on this channel, so stay tuned for that. You guys love the content over here. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.